Hey, what's up everyone? My name is Daniel and welcome back to DanPlan, or welcome if you're new here. Obviously, if you read the title of the video, this video is kind of about the pre-planning before the pre-planning to start van life. Now, typically this isn't my usual content, however, I do plan on going more the van life route of content once I get to that point in life. However, I am in the pre-planning phase at the moment, so I haven't really seen any videos talking about like the steps before actually planning van life, so I figured I'd make this video and fill that niche because I think it would be a really helpful video. There are some videos that kind of like talk about it a little bit here and there, but I wanted to make one video just fully about where to start before you start. So I'll be going over 5 main topics in this video today, and they're all very big important things that you should think about or research or whatever before you even start looking at vans. So the first one is money and like financially, how are you gonna afford this lifestyle? How are you gonna make money on the road? Because most of us don't just have a trust fund that we can just live off of. Number 2, do you have anything right now, like furniture, kitchen appliances, anything like that you can reuse for van life? Number 3 is decluttering and selling all of the things that you don't need. This is good to do even if you're not going to do van life, honestly. But especially if you are planning on doing van life, this is such a great thing to do, and I would start it as soon as you possibly can, even if you don't plan on getting your van for at least another year. You know, it's easier to get it all out now, and especially if you do plan on selling things, the earlier you list them for sale, the higher chance of you actually getting money for the items. Number 4, start collecting things that can be for van life, and I just mean things that can be both for van life and regular life, so camping things are a good thing for this. And the last thing is connecting to van life communities on social media. So we're gonna start out with making money on the road. There are a whole bunch of videos about this. I'll have a playlist listed in the description below just about van life things, and there will be a few things in there about how to make money online and stuff. So this should be figured out before you even start thinking about what vehicle you're gonna be buying, because this is a very, very big and important thing. You need money to do this lifestyle. Things are gonna break, you're gonna need gas, you're gonna need to pay for water, you're gonna need to pay, you might need to even pay to get showers, you're gonna need to pay to feed yourself. Like, there's a lot that you need to consider that you need to pay for. It usually is still cheaper than living in an apartment or a house, but still very important to keep in mind that you will still need to be making money, and you will also need probably a bigger emergency fund than you would if you lived in a house. So if you already have a remote job, this will be super easy for you. All you will need to do is figure out reliable internet that you can have in your van, and you're pretty much set. However, if you don't have a remote job, you could try and figure out how to get a remote job. It's possible. I've been trying. It's not easy, but it is possible. Some other things that you can do, I know there are some van lifers that do DoorDash. You do definitely need a smaller vehicle for this with better miles per gallon, just because it is a lot of driving. You are putting a lot of miles on your vehicle, you're using a lot of gas, all that stuff. I personally do DoorDash just in my Corolla, but that's, you know, it's not a van. My miles per gallon on that vehicle is very good, so it's not much of an issue, but I have seen people have good luck with DoorDash in van life. So the things that I'm going to be trying to do is I'm going to be a traveling gardener as well as a traveling and freelance garden designer. So I currently already have one garden design client. I'm very excited about this project. I'm kind of just going from there and building out my portfolio so that I can I can do garden design from anywhere. As long as you can send me the pictures and the measurements of the area that you want done, I can do the work from anywhere in the world on my computer and send you that information. So that part is remote work, obviously, is being my own boss and creating my own business and everything too, though. And then on top of that, I could also be a traveling gardener, so I can get these design clients, design it from wherever in the world, and then they can additionally hire me to come install it and travel there to do it. There are a lot of things that you can do like that. It's not just gardening. But another option that I've seen is becoming a safety driver. I'll link the video below if I can find it again, but there was this guy that he just kind of does temporary van life, but he'll be on the road for like 3 to 6 times in a month, just being the front or back like safety driver. So when you see the oversized loads on the highway or whatever, and there's like an oversized load safety vehicle in the front and in the back making sure cars aren't, getting in the area, you can do that with your van that you live out of. Another thing it's remote work. You could also become a virtual assistant, which is really just answering people's emails, answering, like, maybe posting on social media for them, helping them with their business, stuff like that. And something else that I've seen people do is you can just pick an area, stay in one area for like a few months or whatever, and just work like an in-person, quote-unquote, real job. It could be seasonal. It could literally just be like a cashier at a Walmart or something for a little bit. And then you just stay in that area for a few months until you save up enough money to go somewhere else, or maybe you can stay there for a little longer, save up a little more money, go travel for a couple months without working, and then just keep moving to different places. That's always a possibility too. There's a lot more ideas than that. Definitely do your own research. Use this kind of as a jumping off point. I'll have, like I said, in that playlist down below, I'll have a bunch of videos about making money on the road, videos I've found helpful, all of that. So the next part is, what in your current living situation can you repurpose for van life? So this part to me was really, really fun. I kind of just looked around my apartment and thought, like, what do I have that I could potentially use in a van build? So my main things are, you can't see it because it's behind the camera, but behind my couch I have this kind of like narrow, long, I'm using it as like a couch table, but there's actually like cubby storage underneath it. So I measured that, and I was thinking I could cut the feet off of that so it sits flat and use that as my counter space in my van build. And then there's also cubbies in it, so I could add doors to the cubbies and then also add some like drawers to some of them as well. So that would be a lot of storage, as well as like pretty much all of my counter space, and I'm sure I could add something on top of it with hinges to like fold down and give me even more counter space. So I know people spend a lot of money on a counter and storage for it, so that would be a great starting off point, because first of all, I got that for free, and then also I have this little dresser from Amazon, very lightweight. It's also pretty small. So what I did was, not only did I take the measurements of that, but I also made it so that all of my clothes, other than my seasonal clothes, like my coats and tank tops and stuff, aren't in there, but everything else is in that dresser. And with that dresser, it has a really nice like countertop on top of it too. So I was thinking I could have the cubby island thing on one side, and then the other side have the dresser. So then it's narrow. There's like space in the middle for you to stand while you do stuff, and then there's more space. There's more counter space, and then the dresser is really short, so I could add more storage underneath it to make it the same height as the other counter. So next thing, number 4, is start collecting things to start van life. Now, don't go crazy and start getting like insulation and electrical things and security systems way before you're even getting a van. Don't do that. You're gonna start with things that you can still use now, and that you could also slowly replace your older things that like won't work for van life. So for example, I have a big blender. Not only do I never really use the big blender, it's such a pain to like take it out and plug it in and all this stuff. So I'm gonna get a rechargeable blender. Not only will that help me now, I can use it now, but that's great for van life. And same thing with my kettle. It's not really an issue to like plug it in and boil my water and everything, but it would still be easier, and I'd be able to like take it anywhere if I had a rechargeable one. Some things that I have gotten already is I got an electric lighter, which I was gonna wait on that, but then I saw it at Walmart for like, I think it was $9, and I was like, might as well, I'm kind of out of lighters anyway. And then the other thing, I really could have waited on this one, but it was $5 on like a Facebook Marketplace, so like why not? I got a 5-gallon jug that has like a little spigot thing on it. So I do need to clean that because it definitely smells like mildew, but honestly, that's a pretty good deal. So I have my water tank already for whenever I do this. I do plan to do car camping as well before I actually get into this life, which is a very big recommendation. Definitely do car camping, live out of a vehicle for a day or two before you actually decide to fully jump into this. Personally, I haven't. But my biggest thing is like whenever I'm not home, two things. One, I miss my cats and I want to go home because I want to see my cats. And two, I'm spending so much money on rent that like, I'm like, well, I need to make as much of my apartment as I can. Like I need to be there as much as possible. So if I had those two factors cut out, if I could have my cats with me and I didn't have to pay rent, I'd be perfectly fine with it. So I am gonna car camp again. Not again. I am gonna car camp soon, which there will be a video about. It honestly might even be the next video. I don't know. I'm filming this video about a month and a half before it actually goes up because I have so many videos like prepped. But you know, everything's good. Like I said, don't get too deep in getting like insulation or anything like that until you're actually like you have a van and you're starting your build and everything, because things might change. You might not do van life. You might not do it ever. You might not do it for another 2 years. You might start it in 6 months. Who knows? So you want to make sure that the things you have are useful regardless. And last but not least, honestly, this might even be one of the most important parts, but join van life communities. I know there's a bunch on Facebook and Reddit. That's really the only place that I've looked. So if you have any recommendations of some good van life community groups on any social media, definitely comment them down below. I'm very interested. I will say, the couple of groups that I've been active in, a couple of them have been super helpful and like amazing. And then there were a few that got pretty transphobic and homophobic. So there's that to look out for, which I'm kind of glad it happened just because it gave me that insight now to be a little more careful, I guess. Yeah, I would just watch out for bigotry. Like not only just transphobia and homophobia, but racism, if that's something you have to deal with, and all of that stuff. I would think this is the type of community that's not normally like that, but it's everywhere, you know? So just be careful and be safe, and learn how to defend yourself also is a very big thing. And once you do get into actually living van life, take your precautions, have safety measures, have some sort of weapon on you. If you can't have a weapon, learn to fight. Have some sort of security system. I know I'm gonna be camping in my car because I am about to get rid of it. And I wanted to camp in it at least one time before I got rid of it. So I'm gonna be car camping soon, and I will have my own safety things. However, I don't really have much of a security system because it's just my car. So I do have, like, it does have the automatic, it will start, like, it has the car alarm. It'll start going off if I, you know, if I press the button or someone like tries to open the door or something. But yeah, be safe, learn safety precautions, learn to fight, learn what weapons are and aren't legal for you to have in the area that you are or will be in. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you did enjoy. I will be posting van life content once I get there. I might be getting a van sooner than I'd actually anticipated. So by the time this video is posted, I might even have a van. We will see. I usually post videos about horticulture and lifestyle, just plants and stuff, but we might be switching a little more to van life content a little sooner than I anticipated. So definitely subscribe if that's something you're into, even if you're not really into plants and you just like van life still. Please subscribe, or at least consider it. Hit the like and the bell so you get notifications whenever I upload, and yeah, I will see you next week. Bye.